I'm ready. Am I on?
Yep, go ahead.
All right, guys. Injuries: Mo Hurst out, Greenlaw out, Aziz out, Hufanga doubtful, Garoppolo doubtful, and Mitchell questionable. Go ahead.
Kyle, so are you ready to announce that Trey Lance will start against the Texans? And then what is Garoppolo's outlook for next week and beyond?
No, I'm not ready to announce that. I mean, Jimmy's not out, so I'm holding out hope. And what was your next week? I mean, he's got a chance this week, so he'll have a better chance next week.
Kyle, will you have to bring Nate Sudfeld up and have him as your backup this week? Or at least potentially?
Yeah, potentially. We were able to flex him with the COVID flex, so we got him up for that just in case.
Hey, Kyle, we didn't see Jimmy throw. Was he able to throw at all this week? And if so, how did that go?
That's why we didn't have him go out there and have him at this way, because we're told each day that we can push it off one more, it gives him a better chance for it to stay. So we're trying to hold it throwing until tomorrow, possibly Sunday. It's way too long to be staring at your branch.
Kyle, how did Trey Lance perform in practice this week?
He had a good week, real good week.
Hey, Kyle, you said, sorry, coming back at you. You said whatever day it was that Jimmy does not need surgery right now. Does that indicate he will need at some point, obviously after the season, to have that surgically repaired?
I don't think so. I mean, they said that they don't think he needs surgery. That doesn't mean that it can't get worse and stuff, that you may need it. So I'm not sure about that. But he doesn't need surgery right now. And from what I'm told, I don't think he'll need it after the season. But there's always possibilities.
After we talked to you on Wednesday, you guys signed Tyler Bray to the practice squad. What was the thinking behind that, and what do you like about Bray?
I mean, that he's been in this league, that he's been around. You know, I remember watching him when he came out. I've always liked how he throws. I've heard really good things about him from other coaches. We thought it was necessary to do that, having a guy questionable whether to play this week, starting out the week, all the stuff that's going on with COVID too. Things can get pretty bad pretty fast, as everyone's seen. So you can't be prepared enough for that.
And Kyle, what's kind of the confidence level you sense with the team around when they see Trey out there at quarterback? I mean, do you feel that they don't need to do something extra, that they believe in him enough where they can just focus on doing their job, that they don't have to circle the wagons and help prop up a rookie?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think anytime you have a new player playing with the team, in terms of a guy who hasn't been out there much, because it's tough at the quarterback position. You don't usually play two. So anytime you guys, and a rookie, you want to do everything you can to help the guy out and make it easier. And to me, guys are locked in, and they're helping him out on walkthroughs and stuff like that. But besides that, I don't think anyone thinks they got to do anything extra. I think guys believe in Trey. I think guys expect him to go out there and play well. By no means, like everyone, is he going to play perfect. But I think the guys, I mean, they got to see him Arizona week. They've got to see him this week in terms of how he handles himself. And I think that week, and it's even stronger this week, I mean, he knows how to handle the part. He knows how to get in the huddle. He takes command. His preparation is very impressive. And I think that gives the guys a lot of confidence in him.
Kyle, I know you said Elijah Mitchell was questionable, I believe. How did he get through the week, and what kind of usage could he have if he was available?
Yesterday I thought was his best day that he's had, just for a Thursday. That's really the only day this time of year we're going full speed, and he was able to get more reps than he has since this has happened to him. So I think that's very encouraging, especially when he does that. You know, today he didn't feel worse, which was the key, and he was able to get some today. Hopefully that'll continue all the way up to Sunday, but we'll play Elijah as much as he can handle. So that's about watching him, watching how his legs work, communicating with him, which is really what Bobby does throughout the game. And when he's tired, if he's going, Bobby doesn't hesitate. He puts Jeff in there. We have a number of guys we can put in there.
Medical question. As has been explained to you, since he has a torn, ligament in his thumb, does time give him, like, is it a matter of he gets better range of motion, he has less pain? Like, do you know exactly, perhaps not exactly, but in what ways Jimmy can improve and be able to throw, given rest?
Yeah, I'm getting really close to never talking about injuries again. Very close, but I've told you guys everything I know. I'll try to say it the same way again. The ligament's torn. The more you can heal, the better it has a chance to relatch. The quicker you go back, the more it doesn't relatch. If that's the word I understand. So that's about all I know. I'm sure you'll get one more though.
You guys good? All right. So go ahead, Cam. Last one.
Hey, Kyle, are you guys kind of under the assumption that you might get flexed into the Saturday game next week since the NFL hasn't assigned those teams? I guess it's a guessing game, but are you kind of braced for that if that's the case?
Honestly, I haven't even thought about it until you just asked that, which I guess that does make sense. But I haven't thought past this game. They're all big, but we know how big this one is. So if that happens, great. We'll be ready for it.
All right. Thank you, guys.
All right, guys. Thanks.
Hey, guys, we got Brandon here for you.
Hey Brandon, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Doing great, thank you. How big of a deal is it for you guys when it comes to at the receiver position, coming to know which quarterback you're going to be playing with on Sunday, and does it adjust, the chemistry or the timing to practice with one quarterback and have another quarterback playing in games?
I think that goes back to the work that we put in throughout the season, before the season, OTAs, camp, just getting comfortable with everybody, continue to work with everybody as the season goes on so that we just continue to build a rapport and just are comfortable with everybody. So we know how this game is. We know injuries happen. We know stuff happens. So we just have to be fluid and be ready to roll with anybody.
Okay, so hypothetically, if Trey Lance is the guy, I mean, how comfortable were you guys out on the practice field this week with him? What kind of confidence did he inspire in y'all?
I know we get that question a lot, receivers, when there's a new quarterback coming in. But really, for us, we just know that if we're in the right spots and where we're supposed to be, we know that they'll be trusting in us and they'll be where they need to be at the same time. So if we take care of our part, it's not too much to worry about for them on their end.
Anyone else?
Hey, Brandon, this has been a kind of a eventful season for you in some ways. Is this, as you look back on it, would you say it's an enjoyable, a learning experience, a difficult season? How would you characterize it? I realize it's not quite over.
All of the above. I would say all of the above. But like I said, we're here coming up on January, and we have everything in front of us that we wanted at the beginning of the season. So that's the most important thing. That's the most exciting thing out of everything. So with everything that's going on, Kyle says it all the time, everything that we've went through individually as a team is on preparation for what's to come. So like I said, we're here approaching January, and we still have everything in front of us that we wanted at the beginning of the season.
Brandon, Mike McDaniel said yesterday that Trey has really kind of let his personality come out over the last several weeks and last several months, much how you have with us. Do you see that from him? And is he one of these people, the more you get to know him, just the more comfortable you get with him as a leader and as a teammate?
Yeah, definitely. We talk about the locker room all the time and just how he fits in with everybody, just every position group, every individual. You can go up and talk to Trey, and it's just easy conversation. Everything flows. Just talking to him, playing around with him, playing football with him, and just even the way everybody respects him just by the way that he prepares and the way that he handles himself as a professional. So he's definitely we've got to see more of him personally and on the football field as well.
Yeah, Brandon, it seemed like at the beginning of the season, there was a lot of talk about Levi's and how you couldn't win at Levi's. And now you've, I think, won 3 in a row there and kind of reestablished your home field. And how important is it to go out a winner there, since tomorrow will be the last one?
Oh, it's very important. Very important. We know what's at stake with this one. And not only that, it's the next one that we have. So it's very important. We know what we have to do, what we need to get done. In order to get done what we want and what we look forward to. So we're excited to get out there, play in front of a home crowd. That's been great here the past couple of games that we've been playing at home. So we're excited to get back in there and see everybody.
All right, guys. Thanks, Brandon.
Thank you.
All right, guys, we got Trey here for you.
Trey, how you doing?
Doing great. How are you?
I can't hear you. There you go. Oh, hold on. I'm messing up here.
All right.
There we go. Hey, we've heard a lot from teammates and coaches about how much improvements you've been making behind the scenes. How do you feel better prepared, and where do you think your improvements have been made most since you last played in that game against the Cardinals?
I think all around. I mean, it was a long time ago that I played, or it seems like a long time ago, the Cardinals game. But all around, I mean, I've gotten to see Jimmy go through different situations, whether it's in games or in practices. Also having Nate Sudfeld in the room is a huge help for me. Just to have another person to bounce ideas off of, to ask questions to. And Jimmy also, like I said, has always been there to answer my questions. From a health standpoint, I think I feel probably the most healthy I've felt since I've been here. But yeah, I mean, getting more reps, getting to see things like how Jimmy prepares in a short week, last Thursday, things like that would have been really hard for me just as a rookie with no vets in the room. I think those things have helped me a ton this year.
Trey, as far as scout team and overlap with what you guys do on offense, just wondering if there have been some games, some weeks of preparation that have been more valuable to you, or another way to phrase it, I guess, is which weeks have sort of stood out to you in preparation?
I don't know if any are more valuable, because I think, I guess the way I look at it, whether I'm playing as, I was Justin Fields when we played Chicago. Obviously, he can move. Then I went to play Kirk. You know what I mean? I think I gain a lot from both of those. Obviously, our D-line is really good, so I appreciate it when I can play kind of how I play and be off schedule. But when I'm, emulating for the defense a quarterback that doesn't move and necessarily a lot, doesn't, play off schedule, I think there's things that I gain from that for sure. I get used to making different throws that I don't necessarily see myself making, but at the same time, it's good to get those reps.
Trey, can you just tell us what this week was like for you, running the first team so much, since you hadn't done so in about 3 months? And then Jimmy Ward said yesterday you completed a couple passes on him. So I'm wondering how helpful that is to go against the first team defense, which you've done most of the season anyhow.
Yeah, going against those guys is awesome, and obviously it's a huge challenge. With Fred in the middle, Jimmy, I mean, I could go, name the whole defense. But yeah, Jimmy's locker's right next to mine, actually, so we get to talk a little bit after practice, and it's always good to get reps against those guys. And obviously practicing with the first team this week. Don't know if Jimmy's going to be able to go or not on Sunday, but for me to be able to get those reps, I think was huge. Whether I go on Sunday or not, I think I gained a lot from him.
Trey, Fred Warner mentioned the other day a conversation that you guys had a while back, just about, maybe you cutting it loose a little bit more in practice, taking some more downfield shots or trying to throw into tight windows and things like that. Do you remember when that conversation took place, and maybe kind of what clicked for you when you did have that conversation with Fred?
Yeah, we've had the conversation a couple times, sometimes more maybe, heated than others. I don't necessarily even want to say heated, but just, I'm a competitor. Fred's obviously one of the best competitors I've ever been around. And for him to care, not only about the look they're getting, but also my development, him, kind of pull me off to the side, or maybe us shouting across the line of scrimmage, whatever it was. It's kind of finding a happy medium between giving those guys a look, obviously, and finding a way to make myself better. Not necessarily finding a happy medium, but finding a way to make myself better while giving those guys the looks. And even if it's throwing a ball that I necessarily don't want to throw, it's important for those guys, and obviously I can get something out of it too. Finding a way to complete that pass.
Hey, Trey, not having talked to you since your start against Arizona, when you looked at that game, what were your takeaways, and how valuable was it as a learning experience?
Yeah, it was huge. Any reps I can get, I think I gain a lot from, mentally and physically. Looking back at the game, specifically a couple plays, obviously the fourth downs converting, the 4th and 1 on the goal line. I think if I score there, it changes the whole game. So I think that's probably one of the plays that I look back on most, frustrated with myself that I didn't make that happen and let those guys down right there. But throughout the game, I mean, I learned a lot. Some good, some bad. I think that's kind of how every game's gonna go. But yeah, I'd say that 4th and 1, not scoring on the goal line definitely hurt. And then obviously us not converting on 3rd down, 4th down. That's tough to do. It's tough to win games that way, but a lot of good too. I don't want to take away the good from it because we had a lot of guys that played really, really well. So it was a ton of fun, and like I said, obviously learned a lot from it.
Trey, some of your teammates and Mike McDaniel have talked about how leadership-wise, your personality has really started to shine through the last couple of months, and as guys have gotten to know you better. Is that just something that was planned? Is that just kind of who you are? And really, what have you learned about leadership from Jimmy Garoppolo?
I learned a ton from Jimmy. The type of person he is, always willing to help guys out, whether it's offense, defense, or special teams. I mean, he really cares. He's a really great teammate. For me, I think probably just becoming more comfortable, finding my role, embracing my role a little bit more, I guess, these last few weeks. It's probably what those guys are talking about. But, I mean, for me, it's about finding my role. Like I said, Jimmy's our starting quarterback. So if he can go on Sunday, I'm going to continue to do my job and be as prepared as I can in case something happens to him. But, I mean, Jimmy's toughness, like him playing a whole, 3/4 of a game with what happened to his thumb, it's not a whole lot of guys that could have done that.
Trey, the 49ers locker room is known for being very close. Richard Sherman was in it previously and was kind of the guy who everybody went to as a resource. Who have you leaned on outside the quarterback's room in the locker room just to get some guidance and leadership?
Yeah, I mean, I'm super blessed. I could name 30 guys. I mean, we have so many guys on our team that are, different personality types but lead in their own way. Obviously, Fred is a great one. Jimmy Ward, talking about defensive guys. But, I mean, we could go all the way across from Alex Mack, Lakin, our whole entire offensive line, Trent, obviously. I mean, we just have so many guys that have been in the league for so long. So, for me as a rookie, obviously learning, not only the football side of things but outside of football, for them being able to teach me and kind of take me under their wing, I mean, I'm super thankful for it.
Just for clarity, you said as far as your locker room arrangement, you're next to Jimmy Ward.
Yes, sir.
Do you think that was done on purpose? That he's the longest tenured guy. He's the quarterback on defense. Do you think the 49ers arranged that so that you would have those types of conversations with him?
I don't know. They might have. That might be a stretch a little bit, but I'll ask the EQ guys. But it's definitely been awesome for me. It was actually Jimmy Ward and Jason Verrett. JV's on my other side, so it's been awesome for me. But like I mentioned earlier, our locker room's super close. So me shouting across the locker room to Lakin isn't anything.
We'll do a couple more.
Trey, you mentioned earlier about you feel healthier than you've ever felt for a while here. How much of an issue was your right index finger early in the season and through that game against the Cardinals?
I mean, it was frustrating, but it wasn't like I couldn't throw the football. It was more of a thing where the inflammation and everything, when I chipped the bone, it wouldn't straighten all the way. So it's kind of been a continuous thing every day, just working at getting it straighter and straighter and straighter, and obviously getting the swelling to go down. But just finishing throws, I think, was probably the biggest thing. When you can't straighten that pointer finger that you're used to, finishing all your throws with, I think was the biggest part of it. But yeah, it's just continuing to get better.
Trey, what was it like taking a full week's worth of reps with Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, and the other starters as opposed to working the scout team this week?
It was a lot of fun. I think I gained a lot from it. I get a lot better for sure, and obviously being around those guys, the energy they bring every single day, every single rep, and just their playmaking abilities, obviously is a lot of fun to be around.
The last one, Cam.
Hey, Trey, one more health question. Matt brought up the finger, but can you bring up what it was like with the sprained knee, how scary that was the day after the game, and just the whole process of recovering from the sprained knee?
Yeah, it was kind of weird. I didn't know that anything happened until I think until really I was laying in my bed and I kind of rolled over and it just felt weird. So I texted our trainers and just let them know. Thankfully, it wasn't anything too serious. I wasn't super concerned because I didn't really feel anything during the game, but I was just frustrated. Obviously, I wanted to be able to be ready to go for the Colts game in case something happened to Jimmy. But thankfully, Jimmy was able to be back for it. So, I guess that's all I got to say about it. It was frustrating, but I feel great now.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it, guys. Happy New Year.